Good evening, welcome all of you, Bande Matram. So, this evening we are going to discuss a glorious topic that is on only the divine grace can save the world. This is the topic of discussion for this evening. Beautiful topic that must be understood well by almost everybody because we must know divine grace. As Sri Aurobindo quotes in his quotings, in his normal style, Sri Aurobindo quotes, the grace is not an invention, it is a spiritual experience. So it is not an invention, it is a spiritual experience. As much as you gain the spiritual experience, thus you will be a gainer, a getter of the divine grace. That you must know. So here in this evening we are going to discuss almost everything from the mother's writings on divine grace. So the very first line, which is the topic of our discussion for this evening, that is divine grace. Sri Aurobindo quotes beautifully in his, of course, mother. It is the mother's quotation. The Supreme has sent His grace into the world to save it. This is a beautiful topic of discussion for this evening. The Supreme has sent His grace. Who has sent? Who? The Divine. What He has done, He has sent the grace. Where? It is into the world. For what purpose? What is the purpose? To save it. So the Supreme has sent His divine grace into the world to save it. Beautiful. One in the single sentence, this is almost, of course, a small sentence. With this, it contains a huge meaning. The divine Supreme has sent His grace into the world to save it. Against Mother quotes, above all the complications of the so-called human wisdom, we feel we are learned, we have knowledge, we have gained wisdom, we are that much adamant in discussing where actually in step by step we stand above the world. So steer in the so-called human wisdom. These are almost steer as per steer in mother's quotings. These are complications. Above all the complications of the so-called human wisdom stands the luminous simplicity of the divine grace. So there is two comparisons, beautiful comparison. One it is on the above and one it is below. Below where in this lower hemisphere where we are staying really. Mother quotes that there is complications, but on the top there is luminous simplicity. Here so-called human wisdom, that is, there is a divine grace, and it is ready to act if we allow it to do so. So the divine grace, with its luminous simplicity, it is above the world, above the so-called human wisdom. There it stands and it waits to act only if the condition, only if we allow it to work. Just imagine how it is. Though we are confined, we are almost confined within this so-called complications of the human wisdom. But above there is a there is divine grace with its luminosity and simplicity. It is ready to act. The condition is that we must allow it to work. Again, there is a question. Actually, some people are worthy and some are, of course, unworthy. Mother quotes nothing like worthy or unworthy. So far, this divine grace is concerned. Mother quotes, who is worthy or unworthy in front of the divine grace? All are the children of the one and the same mother. Beautiful. All are the one and the same children of the children of the one and the same mother. Number one. Number two, her love is equally spread over all of them. Love is equally spread, and the children, they all are children of the one and same mother. So what we have to do? How that where is the problem stands? But to each one she gives according to his nature and receptivity. Two things count: how much you are receptive, and the second thing, what is the type of your nature. On these two conditions everything depends. Again mother quotes beautifully, the grace is equally for all. It never actually makes any difference, partiality, nothing is there, like they are impartial. The grace is equally for all. But each one receives according to his sincerity. Initially, Mother has quoted according to your nature and receptivity. Now, Mother quotes it is according to your sincerity. According to your sincerity, you can contact, you can get it, because you know the sun rays. You find it is coming from the sun from the top to the bottom. It is equally for all. It never makes any partiality. Like this, the divine grace. So it depends upon how you are, as per your nature and your receptivity, and how you are sincere. It does not depend upon outward circumstances, but on the sincere aspiration and openness. Nothing depends upon the outward aspiration, outwardness, circumstances, but it is depends wholly on the how much sincere aspiration is yours and how are you are open. What is your about your sincerity? Again, Mother quotes beautifully. Let us give ourselves without reserve to the divine. When we give yourself without, we must give without demand, without condition, without reservation, so that all in yours you shall belong to the divine mother, and nothing will left to the ego or given to any other power. So, Mother quotes, so best shall we receive the divine grace. As much as we give to the divine in proportion, with our proportion, we will receive the divine grace. Again, how what about your faith so far this divine grace is concerned? The grace can help are always there for all who aspire for them. Naturally, one sincere condition or precondition is aspiration. How much you aspiration, then thus we will get the grace and of course help of the divine. Their power is limitless. Power of the divine grace, their help is limitless. Who, when received with faith and confidence, it is this power actually it multiplies like anything. Condition is that you must have faith and confidence in the divine grace. Again, Mother quotes, at every moment when everything seems to go from bad to worse, terrible, horrible, like this we feel something things are going from bad to worse. It is then that we must make a supreme act of faith. Then that the faith counts, that the faith is your raksha kavach. It is something like a armor. So know that divine grace will, and you must know divine grace will never fail you. That is that confidence, that faith will be there, and with this faith and protection, everything will come to you. At each moment of your life, in all circumstances, two conditions. At each moment of your life, second, in all circumstances, the grace is there helping us to surmount all the difficulties, entire difficulties, whatever is coming, it is actually it will be surmounted by the divine grace, and in all circumstances, at each moment. Through this apparent chaos, a new and a better order being formed. Everything we see, everything seems to be chaotic, disturbed, strifeful. Everything seems to be almost contradictory. Then, actually, a new and a better order is being formed. But actually, to see it, one must have faith in the divine grace. That divine grace, on that divine grace, we must have unshakable faith. So, with this, we will cheer up. Now the second course in it is when all seem to be lost. All seem to be lost, and we are lost with everything. We are no way. We have don't have any position even to make a stand. Then all can be saved. When you have lost confidence in your personal power, then you should have faith in the divine grace. Because human power, your faith, your confidence, your power, everything is actually very much limited and narrow. So when you come out of it and of course focus on the divine grace, and you trust in the you faith, have faith in the divine grace, then naturally you will gain, and then it will never fail you. In the final analysis, everything really depends upon the divine grace. Everything really depends upon the divine grace, and we should look at the future with confidence and serenity. We must look towards the future with confidence and serenity, progressing in the same time quickly as we can. So the thing is that there must be a faith, and we must look forward with confidence and serenity, and progressing at each same time as quickly as we can. Again, after the faith in the divine grace, there is, of course, second step, trust in the divine grace. How it is. In the proportion of our trust to the divine grace can act for us and help. Just so depends how much, in which proportion you, of course, trust in the divine. In that proportion, of course, this divine grace will come and help you. Like the child, again, very good, beautiful comparison. Like the child who does not reason, has no care, because he is simply a child, he's having the simply confidence. So like this he goes, like the child, mother course, who does not reason or has no care, trust thyself to the divine that his will may be done. Just have a trust and just say, let thy will be done, not mine. Like the child's simplicity and curiosity, without anxiety or care, everything will be done by the divine grace and through the divine grace, by the divine grace of the divine grace, and everything is sure to happen. Nothing can be compared to the peace that comes from the total trust in the divine grace. If you have total trust in the divine grace, then another side product will come to you, that is the main product, that is known as peace. So, this peace coming out of the trust in the divine grace, that is actually peace, and nothing can be compared to this peace that is almost sure. And again, leave all care to the divine grace. You should must be devoid of every cares and anxieties, every feelings, every tension. And the thing is that leave all the care to the divine grace, including your progress, and you will be in peace. That the peace will come only with the confidence and the faith in the divine grace, so that you can prosper and progress in the life. That is what the our condition. For one who has total trust in the divine, in his wisdom and mercy, there is no more problems. For one who has total trust in the divine condition, total trust in the divine, in his wisdom and mercy, with the divine and the mercy of the divine, there is no more problems. Problems will be get rid of, and we will surmount all the problems. Then again comes the divine grace, and on one side, in another side, a difficulty. How the divine grace will act on the difficulties, so that your difficulties you will surmount, and these difficulties will vanish forever. In Mother quotes beautifully, it is only by remaining perfectly peaceful and calm, remaining perfectly peaceful and calm with the unshakable confidence and faith in the divine grace. Condition is unshakable confidence. Second one is faith in the divine grace, that you will allow circumstances to be as good as they can be. The very best happens here in the mother course. The very best happens always to those who have put their entire trust in the divine and the divine alone. When you feel there is nothing, only the divine grace, and then only the very best will happen. That trust and confidence in the divine and His grace, that is really worthy, and that is really needful. And then Mother quotes two complementary aspects. The sovereign, immutable peace can liberate the anxiety, tension, and suffering. That's what really we come across on our on our every inch of progress. And the Mother quotes the sovereign, immutable peace, immutable peace, and sovereign, immutable peace that liberates from anxiety, tension, and suffering. Again, the dynamic, all powerful progress. Then this must be dynamic and all powerful progress that can liberate from fetters, bondages, and inertia. So this dynamism must be there. Beautiful sentence here in the has quoted. And again, of course, here in the mother tries to explain, the peace is universally appreciated and recognized. The peace is universally appreciated. It is appreciated universally and recognized as the divine. But the progress is welcomed only by those whose aspiration is intense and courageous. Whose aspiration is intense and courageous, they find the progress is welcomed, and this only the divine, nothing else. With this idea, with this trust, naturally progress will come. When in your life you meet with a hardship, that is normally we come across. When we meet with hardship, take it as a grace from the Lord, and it will become so. So it is like a test you are going to appear it, and when it is there, this idea is there. Naturally, there will be a big progress for you. All depends upon what you want. It is, if you want yoga, take all that happens is the expression of the divine grace leading you towards your goal. Just be very much frank, very much vast, very much bold. What is happening, that is expression of the divine grace, and that is leading you towards the goal. And try to understand the lesson that the circumstances give. Everything has come to teach a lesson. Again, all depends upon what you want. Naturally, this is the thing, circumstances you must understand. People believe that grace means making everything smooth for all your life. It is not true. Everything will be made true. No, nothing like this. The grace works for the realization of your aspiration, and everything is arranged to gain the most from the quickest realization. For that, it is coming, may not be smooth at always, but thing is that it has come to teach you a lesson for the true progress. Other than quotes, the union with the divine, ultimately the manifestation of the divine, and of course, to know the divine. These are the three things you must have with confidence, sincere and constant, and this there will come help and protection. So only the divine union with the divine is the goal, ultimately the manifestation of the divine. We have to go, and this divine grace is there to fulfill the purpose and to lead us to our goal. That is what the requirement, and we must have trust in the divine and his divine grace. Thank you. Vande Mataram.